Harold Merefield made a wild clutch at the open door of the vehicle and managed to save himself from falling into the roadway.
It's all right, he stammered. Beastly slippery tonight. Must be a frost. What's the fare?
The taxi driver lit a match and gazed speculatively at his clock. The young toff was far too gone to have any inkling of time or distance.
8 and 9pence,
he declared, with the air of a man who states an ascertained and incontrovertible fact. Harold Merefield fumbled in his pocket and produced a 10-shilling note.
Here you are, he said magnificently. I don't want any change.
He suddenly let go of the door handle, as though it had become too hot for him to hold, and started off rapidly down the Harrow Road. The taxi driver watched his course with an appraising eye.
That's a rum set out, he muttered. Bloke picks me up in Piccadilly at 2:30 in the morning, and tells me to drive him to Paddington Register Office. Drunk as a lord, too. And when I takes him there, blowed if he don't make tracks straight for the police station, like as though he wants to give himself up a drunken disorderly. No, he don't, though. He's got his wits about him more than I gave him credit for. Well, it's no concern of mine. Time I upped it.
He put his lever into gear, swung his wheel round, and disappeared in the direction of the Edgware Road. The object of his solicitude, although he had certainly set out toward the police station, had turned off to the left, past the gate of the casual ward of the workhouse, planting his feet with the severe determination of one who dares his conscience to declare that he is drunk. It was obvious that he had often trodden this way before. An onlooker, had there been such, might have gained the impression that his legs, accustomed to this route, needed no guidance from a bemused brain. They steered an uncertain course down the middle of the road, taking corners warily, like a ship swinging round a buoy, and turned at last into a narrow cul-de-sac adorned with a battered sign upon which by daylight might have been deciphered Riverside Gardens. But, as it happens, there were no onlookers, as was perhaps natural at 3 a.m. of a winter's night. The evening had been foggy, one of those late November evenings when a general gloom settles down upon London, producing not the merry blind man's buff of a true pea souper, but an irritating, choking opacity through which the gas lamps show as vague blurs of light, beneath which the shadowy traffic roars and jolts. A thoroughly unpleasant evening, making the luxury of warmly carpeted rooms, illuminated discreetly by shaded electric lamps, seem all the more desirable by contrast with the chill discomfort of the cheerless streets. So Harold Merefield had felt, as he had entered the portals of the Naxos Club, that retiring establishment which veiled its seductions behind the dingy brick front of an upper part in a modest Soho street. Upon leaving it, his reflections were no longer meteorological, but it was somehow borne in upon him that the fog had lifted, to be replaced by a fine and exceedingly chilly drizzle. Having found a taxi and persuaded the fellow that he really did want to be driven to the Paddington Register Office, a matter of some difficulty, since the man had expressed disgusted scorn at such a destination. "Here, come off it. 'Tain't open at this time of night, and besides, you ain't got no girl with you." He had flung himself down into the corner, the easier to meditate upon his grievance. Oh yes, it had been a jolly night enough. He was ready to admit that. Jolly enough for the other fellows, that is. His own evening had been spoilt, for what was the fun of drinking by oneself, or with such of the girls who chose to offer themselves as temporary solaces to his loneliness? Vere, who had never before failed him, had unaccountably absented herself, without a word of warning, without even ringing him up to make her excuses. Of course, he might have gone to her rooms and fetched her, but why the devil should he, on a night like that? He wasn't going to run after any girl. She could come or not as she chose. Next time he wouldn't...